It was noontime today in the center of Beijing when a man walked to the middle of the Avenue of Eternal Peace.
Hello, Rye. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Well, today we're going to talk about waste, poop, the good stuff. Kevin is actually an expert when it comes to poop. You don't know, but he's actually number one in the number two business. So, he knows what's going on. And we're not just talking like cleaning septic tanks. We're talking all in. Kevin, you got a sewer plant? You need to make the poop just disappear? Kevin will make it happen. You wonder why the Hudson River smells like poop? That's Kevin. He made that happen. He did that. So, Kevin, tell us a little bit. Like, bottom line, actually, before I get there, so we're going to talk about outhouses. We're going to talk about like what to do with your garbage when things start to go awry. We're going to get to the bottom of it and see what happens. So, Kevin, let's get started.
Yeah, you died of dysentery. How do you not die of dysentery? So we live in like a great country. You know what I mean? You can just take a shit and flush the toilet and it's gone. You never have to see that again. It just disappears. It's gone forever. But sometimes those toilets stop flushing, right? Sometimes you have to get rid of your poo somewhere else, So important thing to start off thinking about is you want to get rid of your turds. You don't want to leave those things lying around.
Nobody likes a floater,
right? So there's three major problems that you can get from consuming water that's tainted with other people's shit. So you got bacteria, viruses, and you've got parasites. So bacteria, that's you can get E. coli, salmonella, viruses, hepatitis A, hepatitis E, retrovirus, rotavirus, parasites like tapeworms, hookworms, liver flukes. Like there's all sorts of nasty stuff that you can get. And if you've ever been to like India or even seen pictures of India, like the Ganges River and stuff,
you just
people
see the
are just
picture and
they're just pooping right in the river. And then a little bit further down, people are collecting their water from the river to take back to their house for cooking.
Sure.
That's no good, dude. No good. You can't be consuming that stuff. And in the United States, there's 200,000 people get infections from E. coli from drinking tainted water. It's not like it doesn't happen here, And salmonella, they said there's 200 million to 1 billion people infected a year in the world. Like these are actual diseases that people actually get. And just because we're in the United States, you're not immune from it. That's 500 years ago, you could just bend over at a river and sip up some water and be completely fine. No worries about anything. Not the case now, though. Don't go, sipping water out of a stream just because it looks clean. It looks clear. It's fine. It's fine. Now, can't do that anymore because people are just shitting everywhere these days. There's people every place, and they're all just shitting every day, just pooping. And, you should know where your poop goes. You know what I mean? Wherever you live, wherever you're pooping, it's going somewhere. Either it's going to your septic tank, or if you live like in a city or even a village, it might be going into a poop pipe and it goes down to a poop plant someplace. People are processing that shit. But most of the rivers in the United States are infected and with certain types of bacteria, certain types of parasites and viruses because of septic tanks. Because people don't get their septic tanks pumped out.
We're supposed to
it
get
rains.
It pumped out?
Yeah, it rains and it floods your septic tank and it just runs right out into the streams. And everywhere you go, people are doing tests all the time on waterways, and they're finding all kinds of fecal bacteria in all the rivers and streams in this country. And you think, oh, there's nobody upstream of me. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm at the top of the mountain.
Yeah, there's some dude at the top of the mountain just pissing in that, and the rain's washing it down in that stream that's running right through your backyard, and it's just full of shit. So just something to think about. Something to think about when you're out in the woods and you need to get something to drink and there's a stream right there.
Stop a little, cup it. Yep.
You wanna be very careful about what you're drinking. And be honest with you, you can get salmonella, E. coli. It's no problem. You go to the hospital, they can fix that up. It's not gonna
it's all good.
You know, just go to the hospital. They'll get you some antibiotics, you know, some antivirals, you know, some parasitics, and they'll get you straightened out. If you can't go to the hospital, though, some of these things can really fuck you up.
Oh, that doesn't sound good, Kevin. So, all right. So you're saying we need to find a quality water source.
Yes, and you want to make sure that you're not compromising your own water sources,
and your neighbors aren't compromising your water source, and the guy up the road isn't compromising your water source, and your neighbor's septic tank that isn't getting pumped out isn't compromising your water source.
Right, because what it was doing is it's kind of like, you know, saturating the ground with this shit water, and it migrates, and next thing you know, it's getting into your well, and you're turning your sink on and getting a nice clean glass of water, and it ain't that clean, turns out, because their turds and their septic tank hasn't been pumped out.
All right, so I did some research about this because one of my big fears, and this is the first prepper tip, prepper, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, first pro tip of the episode here is when you're in a house and all the septic and sewer and you're in a municipal sewer system, guess what? That crap's going to come back at you. People keep flushing all around the city. That stuff isn't getting pumped out by the pump stations and taken away to where it's supposed to go. It's coming back in your house. And that's not going to be good. So I've always been terrified of this. I've had a rental house where it was right up the street. Actually, it was my brother's, but I was dealing with it. So whatever, you can hear my story here. I've had rental houses, but this one, my brother's, and they had a pizza place up the road, and they used to dump all kinds of grease down the drain.
Yep.
And oh yeah, let's just get rid of that. And what would happen is it would clog up the pipe at the end of the road, and everybody in the street, it would kind of back up into the house. And I'd get calls, oh, it's bad, you know, and it's coming, and I'd have to go deal with it. So that's a big fear. And the end of the world, this is a real thing. That's out. There are actually things you turn. I was like, there's got to be like a 4-inch like PVC shutoff valve, like some kind of way that we can, you know, stop that from coming back. There's got to be, you know, a shutoff valve. So like I looked up, there's backflow preventers, like a check valve. So they call it, when I started searching it, it's called a backwater valve. And if you're watching it on YouTube, I got a picture for you. And it's got like, it's just a check valve flap inside there, but it's got a clean out on the top. But the problem is it's going to gum up and like seize in place in the open position if things aren't working. Now, something like this is like $70, but you got to put it in. Now, mind you, you're cutting your 4-inch piece there. I got to say, having that peace of mind that that's going to do it. Now, I did find on Amazon for about $60, they actually have a 4-inch, like actual twist shutoff valve. And I did find some other ones. I don't have a picture. There was a company called Volterra PVC Gate. Bottom line, you might want to consider this if you live in the city or you're on municipal sewer system. They had actually a handle that you could just lift up and down. It was Volterra PVC Gate. That was like $95. I feel like the backflow preventer one, the check valve would be the way to go. However, I feel like when things start to go bad, you want to go clean it out like right then, that day.
Mhm.
Oh, the power
Right.
went out and I think it's going to be out for more than a day. You want to clean that thing out and make sure it's going to work.
Mhm.
If you don't want to clean it out because you don't want to touch the poos, you don't like to get your hands in it like Kevin does, then you might want like a shut off that's just the twist, ball valve, like the other one that I was showing. That's
Right.
another option. Definitely something to think about because that's huge. It sucks. Now there's a lot of things you got to think about. Same thing at your house, right? If you actually are on top of keeping your septic tank pumped out, if SHTF, EMP, whatever it is, there's a big volcano and your island doesn't have power anymore in Hawaii, or you're in Puerto Rico and a big storm comes and just everything gets wiped out, whatever it is, if you're dealing with that guy, if you're on top of your septic tank, as long as you have water to put in and flush those tanks, you can still use your regular toilet.
Right.
So that's going to be an option, and that's going to be good for a good while. I mean, your septic, it should be years. Now, mind
Mhm.
you, if your prepper group comes over and you have 35 guys and they're
Yeah, and
all
they're all
staying at
pooping
your
in the
house,
same toilet. Yeah.
yeah, that might get a little worse, right? I mean, it's going to last maybe a year if you had just pumped it out, but it's not going to last forever.
Mhm.
That's something to keep in mind. So, think about that. And Kevin, those enzymes work in your septic tank?
They actually
They
do
eat the
work.
poos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are worthwhile. If you it's worthwhile, something to have in your cabinet. Now, let's talk basic uh basic maintenance for your septic tank.
Yeah.
You know, you got 30 guys coming over. You're worried about your septic tank. So, let's treat it properly. So the first thing, you want to conserve water. You don't want a whole bunch of water going down your drain. You don't want, dripping. What goes down your drain with your toilet? You every time you wash your hands, every time you wash dishes, every time you do laundry, every time you take a shower, all that stuff is going down your drain.
Yes.
And most of it's water. But, a leaking toilet, dripping sink, that's going to add hundreds of gallons of water to your septic tank over time. And the more that's going down there, the faster it's going to fill it up, and it's not going to be able to drain properly if
Okay.
you've got all sorts of water going down there. So conserve your water, at least conserve the water that you're dumping down the drain. Be conscientious of it. Grease is like,
go ahead.
grease is like one of the worst things for your system because it just starts coating your pipes up, right? And it gets smaller and smaller, until nothing's going through there.
Right.
If it's not biodegradable, it shouldn't be going down your toilet.
Yep.
Flushable wipes, they're not biodegradable. That's not something you should be flushing. They say flushable and it will
They
go
do say
down your toilet.
flushable, Kevin. If it says it has to be
Yeah,
true.
it will go down your toilet. But from there, it's going to cause problems because it's not going to break down properly.
Gotcha.
Condoms, cigarette butts, all that sort of stuff, that doesn't go in the toilet.
No-go. That's
No.
not for the toilet? Okay.
I mean, I've never used those, but
If
whatever.
I flush it, right, who's using those? But if flush it disappears.
Right, it's gone, right?
It's gone.
No,
Gone.
it's in your backyard, and it's just sitting in there.
Clogging up things. That can't be good.
Yeah, there's a company I work with every once in a while that they pump out septic tanks, and this guy was telling me how they're going along the street because they had a contract to clean out everybody's septic tank.
Okay.
And said all these people would come out when they'd open up their septic tank, and they'd
Go,
want to come
"What?
out
I
and
don't
see it for
use
some
that."
reason.
Yeah.
So this lady came out and they opened up the septic tank, and there are like 30 or 40 different colored condoms floating on there because I
Right.
guess whoever was hanging out with this lady was just tying them in a knot and flushing them down the toilet.
Yeah.
And they expand like balloons and float up to the top. It's disgusting. Don't do that. Don't be
No,
disgusting.
That's a no-go.
Yeah, no.
All right. Now, another secret of the pros that might save you guys is think about how much bleach you're using when you're cleaning things and stuff like that. Because if you go and, oh, I'm going to clean the toilet really good, and you splash a cup of bleach,
Mhm.
maybe 2 cups into the toilet and flush it down, that's going to kill all that bacteria that's going on and
Mhm.
doing its thing in your septic tank.
Right. Now,
Right.
bacteria is good in your septic tank.
Right. That
So what it's
bacteria is
doing,
what's breaking it down.
right, it's consuming the solids and turning them into gas, nitrogen, methane, that sort of stuff. So it's actually disappearing. Your
Like magic.
solid stuff, waste is going away.
You remember that movie Vaporize?
Mhm.
Or whatever the movie was called? I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
that was
remember
the
that movie,
product,
no.
but oh, really? Oh, they made a spray. It was like Jack Black and
Oh,
Ben
right.
Stiller.
Okay. I
They made
remember
a
that.
spray that an
And it just
aerosol,
makes the turds
and
disappear.
it was for dog poo, but they'd go over and spray it, and it would just disappear.
Mhm.
They're like magic. I don't know. So it's like that. That's what those bugs do. So that's why, they tell you, they sell you like Rid-X or whatever. In a
Mhm.
perfect world, if you never put anything bad down your septic tank, you should never have to add any kind of enzymes or anything, because
Right.
the bacteria from your body will go and do its thing. It's
Mhm.
just that it turns out we all use tons of cleaning products and whatever. Now, if
Right.
you're one of these hippies and you use that like 7th generation or whatever the hell, something that's really, natural, then you might be all right.
Yeah.
But bottom line, it doesn't hurt to add a little Rid-X and stuff and just give it that help. But that's why they say add it every month, is because they're afraid that you're going to go do your big cleaning and then kill everything out.
Right, exactly, exactly. And you're washing your dishes with dish soap. You're putting bleach in your washing machine. You know, you're using soap in the shower. And really a good idea is let your dogs lick your plates clean. You don't
All
need to
right.
shower. Just wear patchouli. These are simple solutions here.
Real
You're coming.
solutions for
Yeah,
real problems.
come to us and we'll give you the real solutions. Let that dog lick the plate clean. It looks clean, looks fine.
Right.
They'll lick it until there's nothing left and just put it right back in your cabinet. tell your tell your wife when you wash your dishes, that's how you should do it, and make sure your wife sees you so you never have to wash dishes again.
Yes.
Secret of the pros.
Kevin, you're a smart man. See, this is why. Now,
Now, another
go
thing I want to hit on a couple more points real quick about your septic safety. You want to keep your surface water away from your septic tank because it will drain into your septic tank.
Okay.
Like your gutter drains should be directed away from that. That sort of stuff. You just don't want to flood out the area that the septic's in. You want to be conscientious of plant growth. So grass on top of your septic is good. It'll keep the ground from eroding. But there are a lot of trees that really suck up a lot of water, like willow trees and things like that. And their roots will find a way into your septic tank and really start tearing things up.
Yeah.
And then you want to be conscientious that you're not doing stuff on your septic tank. You're not driving your car over top of it. You're not building a shed on top of it.
The guy comes to fill your propane tank and he
Mhm.
drives right over on top.
Right.
Yeah,
And all your
that's a
pipes are
no-go.
crushed, and the next thing you know, your toilet's not going down when you flush it.
That's,
So-
and having the drainage and, the leach field, basically, it's just a tank and then it gets rid of the excess water. Those pipes, if they get crushed, it's not going to drain properly ever.
Mhm.
And obviously, the more immediate, like Kevin just said, if they crush the stuff going into the tank, you're just done. It's going to stop you right down.
Right. Right. So, when the power goes out, if the power goes out, like Chuck said, you can still dump some water in the back of your tank, back of your toilet tank, and you can keep flushing that toilet forever.
And this doesn't have to be drinking grade water. This
Right. You can
be what
scoop
we'll
that out
call
of a pond in the
gray water.
backyard. Mhm.
Maybe after you guys shower, maybe
Right.
take a bath, you could put that water into the tub, into the
Mhm.
toilet tank, from the tub into the toilet tank or wherever it is that you're doing your thing,
Mhm.
and at least get another flush for that big emergency.
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
go ahead.
America is like one of the greatest countries in the world that,
One.
we have like beautiful, great, clean water. Almost everybody in the United States has access to good, clean water. and we're just pooping in it, you know?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
But you don't have to use good, clean water for your toilet, like Chuck was saying, you know? You can get any water in the back of that tank and it's going to make that toilet work. It's based on hydraulics and it's simple enough. If you've ever taken a toilet apart or installed a toilet, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. No, so that's definitely an option. So keep that in the back of your mind. But anyway, sorry, the dog's going crazy. But also, so now say your septic backs up or you have 30 guys, right? You have your prepper compound. You know, maybe you want to just keep the toilet in the house for you and the wife, you and the missus, you know, because this is like the captain's house, right? And
Right,
everybody
right.
else, the riffraff got to go outside. You
Mhm.
might want to look into building an outhouse. Now, an outhouse is awesome. Now, this is basically a bathroom that's outside your building. I'm sure we've all heard of them.
Mhm.
The dream with an outhouse. Now, there's a couple of new ways that you can do it. Now, general rule, and people are going to tell me I'm wrong, and you do whatever you want to do. Don't care. But basically, you're looking at a minimum of 100 feet away from your water source and your house.
Absolutely.
You
Yep.
want both things. All right. Your water source and your house. Now, 100 feet, I kind of read was okay. And I kind of feel like it is. Now, the further you're willing to go, the better. You want
Mhm.
200 feet? You're going to
Even
have
better.
more protection. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not going to fight you with that. If you're like, well, I called the town and they said 200 feet and you're dumb. Well, okay. You know, you do you, buddy.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. So
Yeah.
anyway, now there's two choices here. So we can do an outhouse and you can also come closer. Now you're like, oh, my wife, you know, it's cold in wintertime and 100 feet. I'd rather have something 10 feet off the house. Okay, I'm going to give
Mhm.
you an option here. We're going to work something out. But 100 feet if you're digging a hole in the ground and you're pooping in it. So the deal is, they recommend, you know, like a 3 foot by 3 foot, you know, square basically under your house, build a little frame under your outhouse
Mhm.
and set up a nice toilet seat and a nice little outbuilding. You know, you can put a little moon slit in the door.
Yep.
You're going to want to
That's for
vent
the
it.
fancy people.
You're going to want
Mhm.
to vent it so it
Mhm.
vents out the back. That's going to help. You probably want to put a little screen in there, you know, a nice cushy seat. You know, you do you, right? Make sure they're not pissing all over the wood. Find a way to kind of work around that. You know, be a little creative. Turns out
Mhm.
it works with a toilet tank. You can even put, well, not a toilet tank because of the whole water thing to make it happen. That's not going to work. But you could work something out where you make it a little like plastic. I'm sure they make like little plastic urinal funnel things like that you could do that are going to make it easy. Now, what you're going to want to do is, depending on the volume and how frequent you're using this, it's going to build up. Like ideally, you dig as deep as you can dig, and then you're going to put some gravel or something on there.
Right.
If you had lime, if you had wood chips, if you had ash from a fire, ash is actually excellent. You could throw that on top, sprinkle it on top, especially lime would be ideal.
Mhm.
Sprinkle that on top every couple days. You can keep down the smell and the flies and the bad things. Now, that's option one. All right. And then basically that's going to fill up once you get maybe a foot of solid waste in there or even a little bit less. You're going to have to kind of fill in that hole and move it over,
Right.
move it to a new place. Um, and, you know, kind of keep going from there. You're going to want to let it dry out as good as it can. And before you fill it, you know, put some lime, something. Like I said, ash
Mhm.
would work great if you don't have any other chemicals available to you. All right. So that's option one. Option two, you want to be closer to the house and need that 10 foot away option. What you can do is work out something with a 5 gallon bucket.
Mhm.
And what I'm talking about is build basically the same outhouse, but make like a trap door behind it where you can slide a bucket underneath the toilet seat. Now,
Mhm.
a lot of the tiny homes and preppers are doing this kind of thing.
Mhm.
And basically, they're pooping in the bucket and they're sprinkling wood chips or they're sprinkling that ash from a fire and on top of it and covering it up each time they go. And then they're emptying the bucket out. And
Mhm.
again, if you're emptying the bucket, you put this thing 10 feet from your back door, you're going to have to take that bucket 100 feet and
Right.
dump it out. You know, I mean, there's going to be work. Bottom line, you can't keep your poop next to your stuff. Now, the same thing is that you're going to need to, you're going to have to bury it once you get rid of it. You know, once you take that bucket somewhere.
Right.
Now you can make like a compost pile. This we actually did, but you're going to have to keep adding something that's covering it over and over again.
Right. So you
can't
had
leave it
a
exposed.
you had a compostable toilet set up on your property at one point. How
And
did that work when you
that worked out great. It was in a tiny house that, you know, somebody had on the property, and they would add the wood chips to it. And then they would take that and dump it in a regular compost pile. Now we set up, now mind you, it was a compost pile for this poo. We did
right,
not use this
specifically?
compost in our garden. We
Right.
just composted it to get rid of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? To break it down. But it would still go into a pile, and we'd turn it with a fork every, you know, month or so and whatever, turn it over, air it out, and let it do its thing. And I got to say, that was probably 150, 200 feet from the house, the compost pile, and you couldn't smell it. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really an issue, and, you know, something that's an option. So that's something you might want to look at. Now, the other thing, trash. What are we going to do with our garbage?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're in the city, this is going to be a problem.
Right. You're going to run into issues fast.
One, you're not going to be able to find any food, so maybe you're not generating that much trash. I mean, that's an option, right?
Right. Right. Everybody's going to be dead pretty quick, so you don't have to
you know.
worry about it. The rats will take care of everything else.
So the big thing you're going to want to do, this is both in the city and in the country, is you're going to want to like basically set up your own recycling center. You're going to want to separate everything,
Right.
you know, into stuff that's not going to be smelly, nasty, attract rodents, whatever. Things that you're going to want stuff you can burn. You're going to want stuff that is like metal that you might even reuse on things. Same thing with wood, things you
soda
might,
cans,
you know,
bottles, glass, all that sort of stuff. And like you said, wood, paper, all that should be separate, burnable. That
stuff
can
for
even just be
compost.
stacked up. You don't even have to have a fire with it. Just, you know,
Right.
find a place to put it and put it there.
Exactly. You're going to want to set up compost and that kind of thing. That's going to be, you know, a big, huge help for everything. And next, there is some stuff that you can't get rid of and that you're going to have to burn. You know, you're going to burn some stuff and you're going to bury some stuff.
Right.
One of the things people don't really think about is you don't just want to burn everything and whatever. I got to say, people in these countries where they just burn everything, a lot of people get sick from it. It really does have lasting effects. A lot of soldiers that go over to Iraq and all these other,
they came back with serious issues.
To quote Trump, shithole countries.
Those shithole countries.
The shithole countries. When they're burning all that stuff, people who breathe it in, they get a lot of bad things. And you don't want that. You don't want to be around. Just cooking with a fire every day, believe it or not, will actually take a toll on your health and your breathing. And that stuff matters. So just be aware of it. Be aware of what you're putting in the fire. Maybe if you can work out some kind of chimney for a cooking spot that kind of gets it away from you a little bit, that might be a huge help. If you can set up a chimney for a big burn site, you know, if you can have a box that you can put it in and a chimney that's putting it 10 feet in the air or 5 feet in the air, anything over your head, that's going to be a big help. Now, there's another scenario. Do you have anything more with getting rid of garbage? I would say if you're stuck in the city, I would have plastic bags. Things that you can seal it up is going to be huge, but recycling and separating out, so you're only putting stuff, you know, the food waste, whatever, in the plastic, that's going to be the answer. And then burn the bodies. That's all I'm saying is burn the bodies.
Burn the bodies. Get rid of them. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I have very little trash that goes out. You know, I'm a paranoid, crazy person, so all my mail gets burned. Anything that's paper helps to burn the mail, you know? All my vegetable scraps go out into the compost bin. All my bottles and plastic gets recycled because I live in New York and they're fucking psychopaths out here.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm down to one large kitchen bag of garbage every 4 or 5 days now.
Ooh.
So really,
I
really cut down on waste.
When I was in New York, way back, actually, back when it was trendy and cool and fun to be a environmental protector, our town actually had where you had to buy garbage bags from the town. And they
Right.
would be like a certain color and have, the town name stamped on them.
Right.
And you'd basically pay like $1.50 a bag or whatever. And that would cover like the garbage pickup or whatever. But the idea would be that way it encourages you to, like you said, just have like one bag,
minimize your trash,
and
right?
minimize your trash. And it was going to be great. We were going to save the planet. Well, basically, people got pissed off and we were like, we ain't doing this crap,
Mhm.
And that was back, a million years ago. I'm sure now there's a lot of people that are doing, towns and whatever.
Yeah. Well,
they
don't have pickup where I live. A lot of places have, the garbage. The town just pays for the garbage guy to go around and pick up the trash.
Yep.
$190 a month they want for weekly pickup over here. That is crazy just to pick up trash.
So people don't like it where I live. They complain, but what we have is they call them convenience centers.
Mhm.
And we basically have a dumpster for whatever the hell you want to throw out. We have a compactor for your like household grocery bags. And then we have a big throw everything you think might be recyclable in this container.
Right. And that goes into a separate landfill.
But I got to say, these
they don't recycle any of that shit.
These are like 5 miles. Every 5 miles, there's one of these convenience centers.
Right.
So, I mean, it sucks that, like we usually you hate to say it. We probably fill one bag and like get into the second and then take both of them to,
right.
When they're ready to go to the dump. And that puts us there like every 3 days, and I'm talking like your tall kitchen grocery bag.
Right.
Or sorry, not, garbage bag, like 13 gallon or whatever they call it. So that's an option. Anyway, moving on. What else? Garbage in the house. That it? What you got?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. A lot of people get paranoid about dogs, what they eat, and they got to have the healthy dog food. That's kind of bullshit. And your dogs can eat most of your food waste. That's fine. It's okay. Don't feed them tomatoes. Don't feed them chocolate. Pretty much everything else, they're fine.
Nice. Now, next thing. I feel like this new world, the next thing that we need to be prepping for is poos in the street. Turns out that's not good for avoiding disease.
Have you ever been to Europe?
Or San Francisco?
Yeah, it's in France, they call it, they have a serious issue in the cities in France. It's called pipi sauvage. And it translates into wild pissers.
Those wild pissers.
People just piss on the street, piss wherever the fuck they want, walking down the sidewalk and just stop, pull their dick out and start pissing.
Whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah. Don't do that.
No?
Don't encourage other people to do that. Don't just piss and shit wherever you want. Be conscientious of that.
It's not just a free-for-all?
No. If you live out in the country and you walk out in your backyard and take a piss, that's fine. If you live in a city, that's not okay anymore. There's way too many people too close together for everybody to just be pissing and shit wherever they want. Yeah. I mean, it's trash and human waste. All of our waste is, I mean, it's
nasty.
It adds up quick and it's not good.
Actually, I got a quote for that. It's turns out that the average person produces 5 gallons of waste a week.
All right, there you go.
So
that's human waste.
Up. Yeah.
Or is that garbage?
No,
you're talking about pissing.
Nope, piss and shit. Yeah, no, I'm sure we make more garbage than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, no piss and shit. So 5 gallons a week. So that's going to be a problem. I'm sure I piss at least 5 gallons a week. I don't know.
Yeah, and when you have these buildings that are so close together, and you got apartment complexes with 500 people staying in it, and less than a quarter of an acre of space, that waste stacks up fast if
So
it's not going down the toilet and disappearing.
exactly. So I did go to the San Francisco Department of Health website.
What do
And I
they
wanted
say?
to see, because I was like, well, what are they saying about, the poos in the streets?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there, right? It is San Francisco. I believe it. I thought it's San Diego for a minute, but it is San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
I thought so. Okay. So they said you need to wash your hands with soap and water frequently. Avoid touching your face and mouth and eyes and nose and open cuts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's something. If you plan on coming in contact with the poos, you want to wear gloves. You thought you could just grab it.
I thought you just grabbed the turds.
Put it in my pocket till later when I have a good place to throw it out. If you're really getting into it, they recommend rubber boots.
Mm-hmm.
They say that smoking is bad when you're dealing with the poos because you're touching the end of the cigarette or the cigar or whatever,
putting it in your mouth.
It in your mouth. So you like got the big doobie in there, and you're.
That's how you get tapeworms, dude. That's where hepatitis comes from.
That's the bad. It's a no. Is there a poop app? Slow Burn says there's something about a poop app we can get.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I think is that the one that tells you where
the poops are. That's right. Yeah.
I have heard of that. I didn't even consider.
Yeah, I have one of these apps called Waze, and it basically tells you where there's cars broken down when you're driving. It tells you when there's police coming up and things like that. It tells
you when there's a turd in the street.
No, it doesn't tell you where the turds are, but I feel like it's pretty easy. You report it, and then somebody else saw a turd over on this. If you want to go check it out, you go over 2 blocks to the north over here and down that street, turds. And that's if you're looking for turds, it's a great app to have.
All right. Waze has the turds?
They don't have the turds. It's a separate app.
Just the poop app. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Frisco is all poop dots everywhere. That's the thing. I feel like it. I got to say, about 10 years ago, I was in Poughkeepsie. I was in New York. It's probably what made me leave. I was driving down the road, and this lady, I'm looking like she's standing in a driveway, and I'm staring this like right in the middle of the city, and she's just taking a crap right there. And I'm like, what?
Now, this is kind of little inside baseball. Do you remember Grandpa Woodstock?
Yes, I've seen him poop in public. Yes.
Yeah, so he's got a long beard and wears a wizard hat, and he'll go up to tourists and ask if they want to take a picture with him,
and then people demand
$5.
Yeah, like they do in New York City, but New York City it's more than $5. But go on.
So he had a girlfriend, believe it or not. This woman, she had a beard, and she would just wear dresses, and you could see her just walking down the street. Just turds falling out from underneath this dress, as she's walking, just shitting. No wipes, no nothing. Just going, like a bear in the woods, man.
How is it that you and me have both encountered this? Like, how often are they? Like,
I feel like everybody's got a story about watching people shit in public.
I feel like I could carrying on a conversation and drop a deuce at the same time. Like, matter of fact, like, hey, how's it going? I was thinking, and
and just dropping turds out.
Dropping turds.
Yeah, you have to wash your butthole. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
seriously.
Wash the butthole.
Yeah, important basic hygiene tip: wash your asshole. Keep it clean. And, I feel like if you got shit on any place, on your body, any place, you'd never think like, oh, I could just wipe this off with some dry toilet paper. It'll be fine.
Like nothing.
Yeah, no.
That's a no-go.
I mean, get a bidet if you can afford it, if you can fit it into the budget. But otherwise, shit to shower. That's how it should be.
Shower. All right. Well, you can't always plan your shit. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you want to. Like, you get up, you drink the morning coffee.
Right.
And then, oh, and you're
I
like,
know
I'm gonna go.
whenever I shit in the woods and I have to use a leaf to
Sure.
clean up, I don't feel good about myself
You
until
don't feel
I
fresh.
get things like worked out and get to a place where I can
Oh,
clean
Kevin,
myself up.
well,
The
that
leaves
was
just
one.
don't work as good as toilet paper. Just kind of smears it around.
Yeah, that was one more thing. Now, you don't want to burn your poos. I've heard that's bad.
Hmm.
That
No.
it just is not good for you. Now, like, if you incinerated it, and I guess if you had a big chimney,
Right.
you can maybe do it. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know.
it's not
I
not
just
good. And
recommend
it
no.
doesn't burn well. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but you
And
try it. You make
slow
the
burn
chip.
does say, and this is possibility, you can shit right in the shower, right? And then it clean your crack up, and then you just gotta stomp it down through the drain, right?
Because those drain pipes go the same
It's all going
place,
to the same place. Doesn't
right?
matter. Hmm. He calls it waffle stomping. That
Now,
tracks.
Uncle Whiskey mentioned something about a water bottle with the squirt nozzle. Now, you do the
Hmm.
big one, in a pinch. That's like a portable bidet right there.
Right.
I think I actually own a portable bidet.
Do you?
Like there's like a hand squeeze, like,
Hmm.
yeah. So they sell them. If you go on Amazon, you can find it. You got to keep your options open. You can get your lady cups, whatever they are, and you can get the
Yep.
portable bidet. All these things for the apocalypse. You're
Hmm.
ready.
My wife has been talking about the shiwi,
The
which is
Shiwi.
it's
That's
like a
the
funnel
stand up peeing.
that you
Yeah.
use over, goes over your lady parts, and then it's got a little hose, so you can just piss like a dude and just squirt it wherever you want.
Yep. Yep.
Aim that
I
thing
was
wherever you want to.
I was at one of the Mother Earth News fairs, and
Hmm.
they were selling those. The
Right.
little, I don't know that it was that brand or whatever. It was some kind of stick up there, and yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how lady parts work or how girls pee, so I don't really know what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's a little terrifying, but that's it. So that's basically the bottom line. You need to have this stuff offsite away from you. You need to have stuff that's not going to attract flies. It's not going to, attract rodents. These things
Rats,
carry disease.
cockroaches, all
You
sorts
need
of nasty stuff comes along
to
with
be aware of
yep.
what the people around you are doing and where they're putting their garbage, and anything you can do to kind of work together to get everybody to say, hey, let's do our garbage in this nice, clean, safe way.
Right.
Helping the people around you is going to help you.
Hmm.
And, if you're doing everything right, but your neighbor's got a freaking, it looks like hoarder house going on next door, all those rodents are getting all kinds of nasty stuff, and they're going to bring it over to your house, and
Hmm.
it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You're going
And
to
also
need,
just a quick tip. Remember, your garbage when it's out on the street, that's public property now. Anybody that wants to open up your garbage can and take your garbage bags out and figure out anything they want to know about you, because it's in your garbage, what kind of medication you're on, what kind of how often you have sex, what kind of foods you're eating, where who you owe money to, what's in your bank account, all that stuff is in your garbage and it's public property. So just be conscientious of what you're putting in the trash.
That's why people are flushing the condoms. Now you're getting it.
Yep.
Uncle Whiskey says it takes some effort with the shiwi. So
all right, a little
just
practice.
saying,
Okay.
you might need to, try it out now before you need it. It's one of those things that if you don't actually get some kind of hands-on experience, a lot of this prepper knowledge can fall short in the reality.
Right. You get the shiwi and you think we're all set, and next thing you know, there's piss flying all over the place.
Exactly. So, and it's better to work that out when you have the washing machine available.
Right.
I'm just saying, keep your options open, all right. So we are going to probably do an after show, but I would say that's basically get rid of your trash. And you know what? Have your stuff in order before things go bad, and maybe set up the compost pile. Maybe start composting now. Maybe pretend like you care about the planet and you're like separating your garbage and doing things, and get into that practice now, because it turns out it might actually help in real life.
That's
Just
right.
saying, keep your options open. So with that, I would say stay safe, and We will talk to you guys next week.